This man was betrayed by the two people in his life that he should have been able to depend on, no matter what. He didn't know what to expect when his fiancée and father sat him down to talk, but it certainly wasn't this.
My fiancé and I would often go over to my dad's house for dinner. Since we lost my mother to cancer a few years ago, he's been quite isolated, and my fiancé and I would go around to give him company. His demeanor had been much brighter lately, and things seemed to be looking up for him. I would soon discover why that was. One evening, my dad and my fiancé wordlessly guided me to the living room after dinner. They gave each other a meaningful look for a moment, and then, without warning, they told me that they'd been sleeping together for over 3 months. I was totally stunned. I asked if this was a joke, and they said no and clasped hands and sat there staring at me, waiting for my response. Well, needless to say, I completely lost my shit. Flipped the coffee table, smashed some glasses, punched a hole in Dad's wall. He owns the place, by the way, but still. They tried to calm me down, but I told them not to effing touch me, and I stormed out. It didn't seem real. My head was spinning, and I just couldn't make things make sense. The woman I was going to marry, the man I looked up to most in this world, both of them had betrayed me in the worst possible way. I was living in a nightmare. I isolated myself for the next few weeks, and my dad and ex-fiancé wouldn't stop texting and calling me, even going so far as to involve the police. They thought I was going to hurt myself, as I'd had a history of depression and some drug abuse when I was a teenager. It was ironic how they suddenly cared about my well-being now after causing me so much pain. I explained the situation to the officers, and I could see the pity in their eyes, which only added to my sense of shame. Having my father swoop in and steal my girl is the most emasculating thing I've ever experienced in my life. I ended up joining a gym and found comfort in working my body to exhaustion. It was a safe haven for me, a place to channel my fury and turmoil into something constructive. Going there became a way for me to pretend that things were still normal, even though everything had changed. My ex-fiancée had gone back to living with her folks, and I was left behind trying to make sense of it all. Her mother contacted me, expressing sorrow for how things had unfolded and apologizing on behalf of her daughter. She disliked the situation as much as me and disapproved of her daughter being with a much older man, let alone my father. There came the moment when I had to face my dad in person again. This time, it was to retrieve some of my belongings from his place. I brought a friend along, just in case my emotions got the best of me and I tried to kill him or something. The encounter was tense, to say the least. No small talk, just heavy silence. I grabbed my things, told him this is the last time he will ever see or hear from me, and left. During all of this, I made an unexpected connection with my ex-fiancé's best friend. We found ourselves leaning on each other, forging a bond that was rooted in shared pain. She was no longer talking to my ex either. They'd had a huge fight over what happened. Her best friend had been cheated on in the past too, so she was completely on my side in all of this. We weren't romantically involved, but the friendship was a lifeline during a time when I felt incredibly isolated. As time went on, the truth about their affair became public knowledge. My ex-fiancé's best friend spilled the beans and the news spread like wildfire. I didn't even have to expose the truth myself. She did it for me. Friends from both our circles learned the truth, and the response was that her own friends cut her off. I found out my ex was not handling any of it well at all and was depressed and had to go on medication. It's been months since the big revelation, and I can say that I'm doing better now. The wounds are still there, but they're slowly healing. I'm finding joy in the little things, focusing on myself, my well-being, and the connections that truly matter. I can't deny that there are days when the loneliness creeps in, or when anger resurfaces, but I'm learning to navigate those emotions in healthier ways. I heard that my ex-fiancé and my dad are still together. I've heard whispers about their public appearances, but to be honest, it doesn't faze me. They may have found each other, but they also found the consequences of their actions. Losing a significant part of their social circle was just one repercussion of their betrayal. Losing me was another. I have no intention of ever reconnecting with either of them. As far as I'm concerned, they're dead. My mom would be turning in her grave knowing what my dad did to me. On a positive note, my ex's best friend and I have gotten really close and have booked a vacation together. Nothing romantic, but she's been there for me through all of this, and we've really connected in a big way. I wanted to thank her, and it will be good to get away from all of this, at least for a couple weeks. Anyway, thanks for listening to my story.
Thank you for sharing such a devastating story. It mustn't have been easy. I'm truly sorry to hear about the pain and betrayal you're grappling with. It's utterly unfair that you had to experience this hurt from people you should have been able to trust unconditionally. The emotions you're feeling right now are entirely valid. The heartbreak, anger, and confusion must be overwhelming, and it's important to give yourself permission to feel those emotions fully. This kind of betrayal cuts deep, and it's understandable that you're wrestling with a lot of emotions right now. The fact that they revealed their betrayal before you tied the knot might be a small silver lining, even though it in no way lessens the pain. At least this revelation spared you from entering a marriage built on deceit and betrayal. As for your father, his actions are beyond comprehension. The role of a father is to protect and care for their child, and what he did goes against the very essence of that responsibility. It's perfectly reasonable to reconsider your relationship with him and to distance yourself from someone who has caused you such pain. Your ex-fiancé's actions are equally reprehensible. Infidelity is a breach of trust and a betrayal of the love and commitment that should be the foundation of any healthy relationship. Remember that their actions are a reflection of their character, not your worth. Considering the depth of this betrayal, seeking professional help through counseling is a wise step. A skilled therapist can provide you with the tools to navigate through the complex emotions and trauma that come with such an experience. Remember, healing is a journey, and it's okay to ask for support along the way. It's also important to curate your environment in a way that promotes healing and growth. If there are individuals who choose to remain connected to your ex-fiancé and father despite their actions, it might be necessary to distance yourself from them as well. Surrounding yourself with understanding, empathetic individuals can contribute positively to your healing process. Please know that you're not alone in this. Reach out to friends, family members, or support groups that can provide you with the empathy and understanding you deserve. With time, patience, and the right support, you can rebuild your life and find happiness again. What did everyone think of this story? Utterly reprehensible, wasn't it? I have a hard time believing any father could do that to his son. But unfortunately, I've seen many other stories just like this one. What's going on with fathers these days? Thank you for watching, and if you liked this video, guess what? There's a whole lot more just like this. I'm sure I'll see you over in the next one, right? Absolutely. Okay, bye.